All right, all right. We're back at the podcast today, and I have a special guest who is a wingman client. I met him through the K-Chev networks. We have Anthony Tortorello from E&A Home Inspections. How are you today, Anthony?
Good, very good.
You know, and when I met Anthony through the K-Chev network last summer, we were looking at buying a piece of, or 2 years ago, we were looking at buying a piece of property for Shubu and Shore to have a parking area. And I called Anthony on a Friday and said, could you take a look at this property? I'm going to go into attorney review. And he went to the property and he goes, do you really love this place? Like, do you really need this place? Like, is it really going to be what you want? Because you have a lot of problems. And then I got a 35-page report at about 8 o'clock on a Friday night. And I called my attorney and I said, listen, just do me a favor. Just get us out of this contract. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you and talk about the home services, home inspection business that you're in, and you've been in it for like the last 4 years, right?
Yes, 4 years now. It's all about helping people. That's what it comes down to, right? You're making one of the biggest purchases of your life, for the most part, right? You're only going to do it hopefully a couple times in your life. Some people do it a lot, but you're going to do it a couple times in your life. Yeah,
most people need you like, 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, you know. So you want to know what's going on. You want to know, what the deficiencies are. What to look for, what maintenance items. But you want somebody who's going to do that, who cares, and is going to put the effort in, and also treat you like a human, and make the experience.
I think that was one of the nicest things about working with you. I reached out to you. You said to me, "Look, I can get to it in the next day or two." You did it. You came back with, "Hey, are you sure you want this?" But then also when I was moving into my new home, you worked with my wife and you got everything. You went to the house there and I remember she even had a follow-up call, and she was like, you think I can call Anthony? I said, yeah, give him a call. And, from a customer service standpoint, you were very helpful to make sure that everybody knew what was going on before the closing. And because, again, once that closing happens, you kind of SOL at that point. You're done. So that was your time to kind of raise it, is after that inspection report comes back, review it, go over any questions, and then that's your last point of negotiation, right? For most people.
For most people, but honestly, I'm always available, and I tell my clients that. So I don't care what you need, when you need it. If you're looking for somebody to help you with something, I'm in a networking groups all over the place. I have some great professionals that can help these people when they need something.
That's
so
awesome.
I give them that information, and I'll go over there for free at any time if they have any questions. I'll bring contractors to the house if estimates need to get done, so I can go over it with them. There's a lot going on there, and if you can make that process easy, why not help? It's going to go a long way in the future.
So 4 years. So 4 years on your own. What did you do before this?
So I was in the automotive for the most of my life. I was a mechanic. I ran shops. Customer service was my key.
Customer service is key.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, listen, in that field, right, fixing cars, nobody wants to pay the money to fix their car.
No.
It's like going to the dentist. You don't believe that you need to get that done, right? You're like, what do you mean? I don't need that. But if you handle it the correct way and you're honest with people and tell them the important things and the most important thing that you need to do now and the things that should be done later. It's the same thing with doing an inspection, right? What's important to you now? What's going to be the most expensive thing for you to fix, have to replace? Where should you go first? What should we start with? And that's the most important. You just give them the knowledge, give them the experience of the fact that they can walk in the house and go, all right, this is what Anthony said we should start with. This is what we should do in the future. But do it in a way that makes it easier for them to understand.
Sure. So the process. So someone decides that, they're buying a new home. I'm assuming you work with realtors and mortgage and title professionals?
Yeah, most of my referrals come from them. So basically a lot of my realtors will give my number out, and, I'm sure they give other numbers out as well. And I think I land 99% of my jobs from the phone call. I take the time to talk to them, let them know how we're going to do this, how everything's going to go, and get through the process as quick as possible. And I always try to get my reports out within 24 to 36 hours. Last night I was up till 12:30 because I wanted to get the report done before I start my day today.
Yep.
So you want to get it. The market is moving so fast. You just want to get it done. You want to get them on their way.
And do you feel like the market has changed, or during COVID and post-COVID, it was a little bit crazy where people were outbidding each other every day?
It's honestly, it's slowed down as far as that, but it's still there because there's not inventory.
Yeah.
So when you don't have a lot of inventory and you got people that still want to buy, they're going to put the offers in. They're going to stretch it a little bit.
Are you dealing with a lot of first-time home buyers, or are you across the board? Like where
everywhere, yeah. I mean, everywhere. People from downsizing to first-time home buyers to, people who want investment properties.
Mm-hmm. Is most of your territory Monmouth and Ocean County?
I would say 75% of my business is, yes.
Okay.
But I was out in Hamilton, Trenton.
So you get on 195 and you head west.
I go. Yeah, wherever you need me, I go.
You go where the property owner is looking for help and be able to provide a great...
And I have some realtors that, are looking for houses in, markets that maybe people can afford or a little bit further away. So they help their clients out that way as well. I have no problem going out there and doing the job for them.
So from a kind of a gritty perspective, so 4 years ago you decide you're going to leave the automotive, running a garage, running a crew, to doing this. What made that change? And
I just got tired of having employees. And it's not a bad thing for most people. For myself, I take a lot of pride in what I do. And when that changes because somebody else is doing the work or somebody else is under me and not doing the correct thing, it's hard. I take that to heart. Whether I own the business or not, I take that to heart.
Sure.
So I was looking for something that I can do by myself, and still enjoy working with clients and still enjoy the aspect of going out there every day and working hard. And this was something I knew I could do and wanted to do, and I made it happen.
So a lot of the growth has been organic growth?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's really networking,
Networking.
And that's, I never thought I would sit here and do this.
You never thought you'd be on a podcast?
No, not at all.
I'm glad that I'm
But
your
I'm
first
glad I got
podcast.
to meet you because it makes it easier.
Yeah. Thank you. I know that you are in the process of getting a new website done. The
girls
team
are doing a great job.
Wingman Planning has been working with you on that. So that's going to be another outlet to bring on more, people calling and finding you
definitely.
through online, which is awesome.
I had a website. It just didn't work out. So thank God I met you guys. And now it's going to be something that we can use.
Awesome. That's great. So now, 4 years into this, each year you're enjoying it more?
Amazing.
Okay.
Amazing. I will do this until I can't crawl in a crawl space anymore. Till I can't physically climb in an attic or crawl in a crawl space, I will do this.
I love when you put up pictures on social media of like some of the random things and weird things you see while you're out
I
there.
think it's good to do because it just shows people what's really going on out there.
I know.
It's nuts.
It's scary.
Yeah.
So now, that purchaser is going to call you, but also I would have to think that there's a opportunity for potential some sellers to call you before they list their house on the market.
Oh, no, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I push that hard. I do have a few realtors that actually do that as well. They'll talk to their, clients before they even list a house to have me come through the house and just get an understanding of what's going on. So
at least know your risks, right?
And it's up to you to do what you want at that point.
Yeah, like you could find things. I remember this house and my other house. We had in my brick house we had bats one time. Like, but who would have thunk?
That's my biggest fear.
Who would have thunk that? Like I remember one night, like Cindy says to me, "I think there's some noise in the attic," and I'm like, "Oh God!" It's like just want to go to sleep. I just want to relax. And now we're thinking, and we called somebody in. They're like, "You have bats," but I just could think about if we didn't know that and we go in to go put the house up for sale, what happens? Like. Now you do an inspection, and I think also at that point a buyer could get cold feet, and they're thinking like versus if somebody came in proactively like yourself and said, "Hey Tom, you got bats in here," then at least I'm ahead of putting that for sale sign out there to correct it.
Yeah, and again, it's up to you. You make that decision. But wouldn't you want to know exactly what's going on? So when you do get that home inspection, you're not blindsided. Yeah. Because really, when you think about it, how many people actually are crawling around the places we crawl around?
Not many.
They're not,
So for the person who either hasn't done an inspection or hasn't been around when an inspector's come, what's like the normal process? You walk into the house. How long are you there?
So your average home is about 2.5 hours. What I usually like to do is do the outside first. So I usually get there before everybody.
Okay.
And I do the outside.
You're
get that
a thorough
rolling.
Guy.
Listen, I mean, you want to do the right job for your client. You don't want to scare anybody. You don't want to be that kind of guy. But you want to definitely be there for your client. Mm-hmm. So I get there, I do the outside. Then everybody gets there. we go inside. We get our appliances running. We get all the big ticket items going. If it's summer, we'll run the AC. If it's winter, we're just going to run the heat. If it's summer, we're going to run both the heat and the AC. We'll do the heat last because we don't want to sweat people out. And then we're just going to start going through the base main level. Then if there's a second floor, I work upstairs.
Okay.
Then I'll do the attic. And then if there's a crawl space, I go crawl space last because you want to run all your plumbing and you want to make sure there's no leaks. Plus, it's the dirtiest part of the job. So you don't want to be in there first and then you're, changing and, so you do that last. And again, you're going to catch all your bigger problems if you do it last. Attics, for the most part, aren't too bad. The summertime get a little sweaty, but it's good. It's you wear a mask, you go up there, and you find hopefully nothing. But if you do find something, you want to let your clients know. Then
you come back to your office, you write this report, and from my experience with you as a customer of your service, you put together a PDF report with a lot of pictures.
So, I mean, I think it's important, right?
I think that's important too. I thought that was great when you showed me that building and you showed me how the two buildings weren't connected anymore and that there was a gap. Like, that kind of summed it up. Like, that kind of showed me, like, oh, wow, is this really what we want?
And again, when I do that, that gives you the decision how far you want to go. Some people still want to do it. They're not scared, or they don't want to they're not worried about putting the money or the time, or they're just so in love with the property.
When we bought my Manasquan building, we knew. I don't even think we had an inspector come in because we knew that there was so much that had to get fixed that we didn't. Like I said, why are we going to spend money? No offense. I didn't know you at the time, so don't worry, you wouldn't have got the job. But I said to myself, like, why are we going to spend money on something that we know we're going to have to rip out? Like, we ripped out every piece of plumbing, every piece of duct work, like when we redid all, like, so I didn't think that there was a need to bring someone in because there was just so much work. But to the other point of, like, when we looked at the place in, that other property, we decided, like, we don't want to take this challenge.
Well, even the electrical panel in that one at Point was completely rotted from water coming in and corroded. So there's another huge expense that you would have never looked at until later on, because you want to move a light or you want to do something and an electrician goes, hey buddy, we got a problem here, So.
Yeah, like right off the bat, like, that saved its weight in gold. But that's great that, like, people, professionals like yourself are out there to do this stuff, because again, I think the average consumer, and again, that was a commercial place and that has economics behind it. But when you go into a house, potentially your wife falls in love with it, and regardless of what might be seen, like, they love what they.
Oh, I mean, all my clients, I'd say 97% of my clients, they'll walk in and go, oh, I didn't see that, because they're not looking for that. They're looking where the couch is going to go.
Yeah, they're looking for their forever home.
Where their decorations are going to go. They're not looking at, like, the crevices, and they're not looking at the plumbing or the electrical. They're not paying attention to the things that, we're out there doing.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important. And again, it doesn't matter if it gets you anything at closing or not. It's just so you know what you're buying.
Yeah, and you're prepared for the future. Again, you could say, oh, the hot water heater has a 3-year life left on it, and at least in your head, I got a budget for that in a couple of years.
That's the important thing to do, is just tell them, look, these are things to budget for, right? Because things are going to go wrong, and you could have something that's 2 years old that goes bad, right? Yeah. Or you could have something that's 30 years old and still running great. Yeah. So it's just how you handle the situation is how it works out.
And again, you also identify mold and stuff like that. So things that aren't, don't meet the eye per se, you can kind of alert people ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we legally don't call it mold in our business. Okay. Yes, we call it, not until it's tested.
Yeah, sure.
But we definitely, call out the things that don't look
look right. All right, fair. That's cool. So 4 years in, organic growth, hustling. You're a hustler. You're definitely hitting the network. I see you on social media tagging when your company and when someone's looking for, in some of these town pages, you're in there first. And you also, I love that you always have 3 or 4 or 5 or so people that are also always putting your name, which to me is a sign of a great business owner, because that means that other people can count on you, and they're willing to put your name out on the line.
Yeah, I mean, I think what really gets me going and what really makes me thrive is the fact that my clients call me back to say, hey, we loved what you did. My niece is buying a house. My son's buying a house.
That's great.
And that's honestly, a lot of my business has just been from that alone.
Referral, word of mouth.
Yeah, so it's been, And like I said, I'll go all over the state for them.
Yep.
You know, so it's yeah. I mean, I wake up every morning excited about what's going to happen.
That's awesome. That's a great.
And I never felt that way in life until I started
That's
doing this.
fantastic.
You know, I always heard that, you know, when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
It's kind of true.
I'm living proof of that. Like I would never stop. I'll work 7 days a week if I have to. I love it that much.
That's awesome that you love what you do. And did you think when you were leaving the car industry and coming into this, like that you were going to have such a passion and such a desire? It sounds like customer service is your.
I mean, customer service was definitely where I knew I'd be okay with. Mm-hmm. But again, it's you know, you're going into something you've really never done before.
Yeah.
So it was scary. Don't get me wrong. But once you really get into a rhythm and really feel what you're doing, yeah, I am not ever looking back.
Awesome. You know? So now, what's phase 2? Do you think that you're going to expand, bring on employees? Do you think you're going to stay just doing it and being that one man?
I mean, listen, I love doing the one man thing. But part of me, as I grow, you know, I'd like to keep the name of the company growing, you know, so maybe in the near future, possibly taking on maybe a part-time inspector. I had a friend who was doing it for me, and he still helps me out when I get into a jam and people love him, so I love him, but he has a full-time job, so he does it like part-time. But, you know, there's a part of me that says maybe as we continue to get there, maybe we do bring somebody on. You know, I've been slowly kind of meeting some and trying to vet them as I go along and see who I would like to kind of talk to and maybe help out, but we'll see.
That's great.
If not, I'm still happy doing just
totally. But I love to see employee growth, and it sounds like you have a good business and that people really like you. And I think that's the hardest part sometimes for business owners is if customer service isn't something that's in your DNA, it's hard to really. It's hard to put on that face day after day. Like in your head, you're like, oh, this is crazy. But if you have that passion to please and help, you know, I think it is easier. There are still some crazy customers out there.
Of course,
we all have them, right? I mean,
but again, it's how you handle it.
Hopefully, Maddie doesn't think that about you.
Listen, I mean, she probably does.
No, I know she told me you were very nice the other day. I told her you were coming on the podcast, and she was like, "Oh, he's so great to deal with."
Oh, because I'm dying with this Google video thing, and
is Taylor going to come and help you?
She's going to come and help me finally. I finally gave in. Listen, I was like, I got to do it.
If that's any time at Wingman you have a problem, you just tell us and we'll come and help.
No, they're awesome. I mean, anything that you need, they're right there. So
awesome.
You guys are the best. Yeah.
You know, they're potential customers for you in a couple of years.
Of course.
As they start, growing up.
That's why you treat people that way in life, right? You want to treat people with the same respect you want to get out of it because it's only going to grow your business. Yeah. You know.
It's cool though, when especially I love when we work with you when we're the customer and then you come back to us and say, hey, listen, I need some help here. I love that because, you know, everybody wins, everybody benefits. And again, I love throwing your name out there. I hopefully when we're done with your project, you're happy to throw our name out there. So it helps expand all of our networks. And, you know, I love when everybody succeeds.
Oh God, yeah, it's the best thing.
It's the great thing, and you know, I love, you know, even the networking events that, you know, you and I met at the K-Chef. Shout out to K-Chef. But you know, I do business with a number of people that I met through there. They started a networking group in Belmar here. Abdel and Chris Lynch started a networking group called Coastal Connections that right now they're running here because they have 8 to 10 guys. But when they get bigger, this space.
They invited me, and I would love to come. But every meeting so far, I've had a house at the time, which is good. I'm not, and I met them. They're great guys. I was talking to Abdel the other day at K-Chef's event again. Just super people. They're passionate about what they do,
and that they're like-minded people.
That's the most important thing.
You know, there's so many like-minded guys that go to the K-Chef that met through the K-Chef event. You know, I've done work for Phil Curry. Shout out to Curry Electric. He was a great guy, but like, you know, a lot of these guys are they all have the same goals. Marco.
Oh yeah.
You know, so
even Tom Wonder Man. I mean, he's awesome. And I've referred him out so much, and everybody calls back and says what an amazing job he did.
He's a great guy. Know. He was an early podcast. He was probably podcast 5 or 6, and he referred me to Get Power Wash, which we helped them with their stuff. So it's just a great network of guys that are, you know, that are all trying to grow together, and I think that's great.
Oh, and you need that, especially in my field, because I do a lot of adult communities, and a lot of those people are coming from different states or up north or further away. They don't know people.
No, they need Tom.
So
a guy like Tom is perfect.
They need that. So it's so good to have those people in your pocket to be able to go, I trust these people. Call them.
We'll give a couple quick shout outs. Shout out to Tom Jarrah, Wonder Man. Handyman and Wonder Washes, Nick Lasordi at Wet Power Washing, Abdel from Got Mortgages, Marco Reyes from Reyes Royalty Construction, and again, Phil Curry already got the shout out, but we'll give him another one there.
Yeah,
Those
they're
are
all
just
great people.
all great guys, all in the a lot of people in that home service and home process. So again, those are great leads and great people for you to connect with. And Chris Lynch from Chicago Title and Coastal Connections too. So all good guys. And the next one's going to be a good one. It's April 30th.
I know I'm not going to be there.
All right.
I'm driving down to move my daughter to our apartment.
Oh, cool. That's good. That's
So
good.
But I'll be at the next one.
Perfect. So, I love to see this growth, and I like this. It sounds like you never quit. You just, next day you get up. If you have a bad day, you hit the next one, and the next one's going to be better. That's the mentality of you never work a day in your life. I kind of feel that myself. Like I'm going to, there's going to be busy days. There's going to be days that are hectic. There's going to be a client that's not always happy. But, our goal is always just to kind of keep pushing through and, serve them the best we can.
Yeah. And again, it's how you handle this situation, right? If you do it the right way and you're not combative to people, and you'll never have a problem.
Agree. So as we wrap up, I really appreciate you coming on today, and I hope this is the first of many podcasts for you.
I hope so. This was awesome. I was so nervous walking into this.
Nervous? I can't even believe that. I told you when we first started, we're gonna have a chat. We had a 9-year-old kid on recently who's in a real race car club in Wall Township, and he came on, and I said to him, his grandparents were here, his mother was here. And I said to him, we're just going to have a chat. It's just us talking. And he did great. So check him out, Colin Buca. His podcast recently went out. But as we wrap up, I appreciate you coming in today. Tell people how they could find you.
So it's home inspection by EA at Gmail is my email. ENA Home Inspection NJ.com is my website that we're going to be launching in the next couple of days.
Awesome.
And 732-267-4633 is my phone number. Call me anytime. I might be sleeping if it's after 9:30, but unless I'm doing a report like last night. So anytime you need anything, please give a call. Questions, I'm always available.
I appreciate you coming on again today, and thank you for doing great work for my personal residents as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was awesome.